Hey, howdy, hey, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And I'm Morgan Hill.
It's always fun to have Whit Shiller in the studio. He's a gag, and he always pulls something on us, doesn't he, Dan? Well, this time he can't because he's right there on Zoom.
Well, he still can, technically, I guess. But
and he can also you can hear him on the radio, and maybe if we have time, he can give Morgan some marriage advice because he is the prince of marriage and advice. But before we get into all that, Whit, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Nice.
okay.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's in some ways the most dangerous question on the planet right now. I mean, you want to know?
Yeah.
But I remember when my grandmother was getting older, and she's passed away now for a number of years. I just remember when I would answer the phone and I would say, "Hey, how are you?" It was like I was going to get a health report for 10 minutes.
Well, I got the gout again and my back hurts.
Right,
Yeah.
So it changed to, "Hey, you."
You heard that from Whit Shiller, by the way. So if you're having those same issues, that's what I'm going to do after I turn 60. If Dan and Morgan ask me how I'm doing, the entire show is going to be about my bunion or other things. So anyway, let's do this. So you are the founder, president of Fish Sticks Improv. So how are you doing improv when we are socially distant, isolated? How are you doing that?
Well, yeah, we actually, when all of this came down, and every sort of live event had to be canceled. We had our conference scheduled for this weekend, so we had to shut that down.
Mm.
So that's a disappointment, of course. And then it was like, well, how do you do what we do online? And it was pretty much, let's just assume we're going to have to ride this out. But we had a Zoom call with our team, and it was, and I think everybody's had this experience a little bit. It's just so good to see other people,
Right. Right.
And Zoom calls can be super frustrating because not this one so far, but
give us some time.
I know, right? But someone can't hear, or somebody's talking over each other or whatever. But we just kind of went around the room, so to speak, and heard how people were doing. It's like, oh, this is actually really nice.
Mm.
And then it was kind of like, well, we'll do this from time to time. But one of our new Denver sticks, we just launched Denver at the end or the beginning of February, give or take. Hadn't had our first show yet, and then the world shuts down.
Yeah.
But one of our Denver sticks, who you may actually know, Lisa Williams. She's a radio person.
Name sounds familiar.
Okay. Well, she had been on K-Love, is now doing a thing. Anyways, she was like, let's just play. And so when it was like, okay, we're going to do some of these improv things just to have fun, it was like, okay, how do we make this work? And so what we've done is we're leaning into the mission of connecting people to each other and their communities through improv. And so we've got this format where it's really interactive. And if people, not just typing in suggestions or things like that, but we're talking with people, we can bring people on the screen. It's just turned out to be, and is turning out to be, it's like an orderly, fun family Zoom call is, I guess, what we're after.
Oh, wow.
In improv, is there anything that's really orderly, though? I
mean, well, no, we've seen that play out in the times that I visited with you guys.
Very true.
It's not orderly necessarily, but then you break from the disorder, have some time where you know who's talking next, and have some fun with it.
Why is he looking at me when he says disorder, Dan? I don't understand that. I don't get it.
You don't know which rectangle I'm looking at.
Hey, stop looking at the rectangles. So you've had your first, I guess, Zoom show or online show. Let's call it an online show. How did it go? And you had our buddy Juan DeVivo involved. Is that Juwan? Sorry, Juwan DeVivo involved. Is that right?
Yeah. So with the with everybody being everything online, Juwan had been sort of continuing. I mean, he's a student of improv. He just loves this stuff, and he's been working on it and getting better. And I mean, he's funny. He's funny. So he ended up kind of being around, and then as we're doing this online stuff, he's been a part of that too. We're calling it Fish Sticks in-home delivery, a contactless way to deliver comedy to your door. But we had a couple shows last week, and it's a new thing, and so there's some things that we've learned, and each show will be that much better. And we were talking just before we got on about there's elements of radio and how to engage with an audience when you can't see or hear the audience, at least most of the time. So that's, they went pretty well. And I feel like we've got something that it's not the same as being together in person, right? But until we can be together, it's like, this is a pretty good way for a ministry to have a virtual conference. Or even like I think about graduates. They're not getting their moment, to celebrate with family. Well, we can do something like this as an excuse to get friends, family from anywhere. They can be in Bali and log in now, and then we can celebrate that person in a way that everybody is able to participate with. So I'm excited about the personal impact and the ministry impact of it. And like I said, in some ways, the improv is an excuse. We want it to be good. And some of the games we've been able to tailor for the screen, like we do a guessing game called Call Center. And that's been kind of fun. And one of the things, you have the call center employee, it's like their first day and they don't know what's going on. So they have to figure out what this weird product is and what the problem is. And people will come up on screen like their callers, some with complaints, some who are happy with the product. And they'll give little cues along the way. Well, it looks natural because you don't expect those people to be in the same room. And there's a good back and forth.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been, it's, one of the things that we've been doing that has really translated pretty well, I think.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Well, Jake from State Farm is probably not wearing khakis when he's working at home.
No, he's not. Maybe the red shirt, but not the khakis. No.
Maybe the red shirt, yeah.
We're talking to Whit Shiller here on Faith Talk Live. Now, Whit, switching gears here, but the Prince of Marriage title has me a little intrigued. So what do you have to say for yourself on that?
Self-crowned.
Right. Well, no, it's the title of my podcast, the Prince of Marriage Advice.
Bali.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's about 400 episodes. Basically, I would say, if you want, as a newly married person, and this is, I think, applicable to both spouses, have low expectations. And in many ways, I'm not kidding. It has been the key to our marriage. My wife is wonderful. She exceeds my expectations every day. But having low expectations on her end makes me feel like I'm in the game. It helps.
She set the bar low, right? I mean,
she knew that going in, that the bar was pretty low.
Oh boy.
Whit Shiller here, the founder of Fish Sticks, and hey, you heard it here first. Low expectations wins every time. And check out Whit's latest podcast. It's called Yes, Dear. All right, we've got a little less than a minute and a half or so. Whit, do we have time to talk about the global? And would like to get you back on with Juwan, both of you together. Maybe we'll regret that later, but let's plan.
I think it'll be fun.
Let's plan to do that, but let's talk about the global thing.
Well, I'll note in terms of Juwan's going to be actually playing on our online show on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's the 28th. So if people want to do that, they can get a free ticket or they can throw a couple bucks our way. It doesn't matter. We'd rather see people there. And they can go to fishstickscomedy.com, and it's an online show directory.
Cool.
The global thing has been really kind of interesting because all of a sudden, even though we had these tools available to us all the time, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, I can connect with someone anywhere. So I've been I've been hosting this improv summit for my actual podcast, which is the Improv Comedy Connection. Very low on marriage advice on that one. But in it, I ended up hosting an online summit of people from, we had people in the US, Canada, Australia. We've had folks in the UK. We're going to have another one where I'm hoping to have people from 6 continents on at the same time. And it's just led to these connections. So I have a training session for an improv team in Japan that I'm going to be doing on Sunday night. Cool. Half of them speak some English and half of them speak no English. But they're able to, get a different perspective and angle on things. And I get to interact with people in kind of all over Japan too.
How fun.
It's a different thing, And I think it also, if we think about it from a faith perspective, it's like, is this part of how God accelerates the move of the gospel? Just like the Roman roads were big in the gospel spreading at the start of the Christian church. Is this sort of a network that we had these roads all the time? Well, now we're walking them. And so who knows what that means for you. When we first met, I remember, I think it was you, Rick, but it might've been you, Dan. It was one of the two of you because both of you were there. Morgan, you weren't, but it was talking about fish sticks, Japan, and sushi sticks came up, if you remember that. Well, who knows? Who knows how that works? Because now, as his church, we can see every tribe, tongue, and nation in small rectangles, but we can see them nonetheless.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Good. That is so good. Hey, Whit, we got to go. Let's do this. Get Juwan and you and all of us on a Zoom call, and we're going to have a great time. Check out Fish Sticks Comedy. You can follow Whit as well on the Facebook. Hey, we'll be back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And I'm Morgan Hill.
This is Faith Talk Live. Stay there.